back.
Nice.
Hey.
I don't know what I got on the way.
I like UK. Greetings from the UK. Cheers, man.
Greetings.
Essa Blair. That's hard to read. Greetings from Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know. Essa. I'm just going to call you Essa. How's it going, man? Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. 3 people in. Dude, we're rocking on this Friday.
We're rocking it. And I'm not one of them at the moment. I'm looking for tab things.
Get all the bots in. Come on.
Yeah, I'll open like 5 incognito windows and just have all of them on the stream.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, make us look like we've got 20 people. Ooh.
Yeah.
I am from Baltimore too. I cover the Orioles. Oh, cool. Nice. Pigtown Sports. Nice. That's there's a part of me. So I did earlier late last year, early this year, I started a Detroit Red Wings podcast with a guy that works with Gen Y Pod, the Generation Y podcast, Aaron. And I just didn't have time for it. It was one of those things that like I bit off way more than I could chew. And if I could have like one podcast that I have free time to do anything with, and I had all the time in the world, it would be probably a hockey podcast. I'm a Leafs fan. I'm also a hockey fan. Like I'm not just a Leafs fan. I love watching hockey. Baseball as well. I'd be a Jays. I would really go deep on the Jays.
Oh, that's cool.
That sounds dirty. Kilobyte 808. How's it going? Yo.
Yeah, I like baseball. I'd never been to my first baseball game was last year, the Mariners game in Seattle with some Mackey colleagues, some Mackey brethren. The Mackey
evil Mariners. The evil Mariners.
Yeah. And it was honestly, it was a good vibe. It was a very social vibe, which I kind of liked. You know, there was lots of kind of dead time to just chill, have a beer, have a concession item.
There's nothing better than a baseball game and just a nice long afternoon. If you're into drinking the beer, if you're into just ballpark hot dogs,
just chilling with good people. I remember we were talking about they were introducing me to Big Dumper, who is the name of one of the players, and he's got a big butt. That's what he's. And so anytime we're just like, oh, Big Dumper, it's like it was weird, but it was fun. I mean, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
You know, there's many ways that it could go when your workmates introduce you to Big Dumper. That's probably the best way it could have been.
Demonetized.
Liberty, dude, it takes 3 to make a family. Yeah, one person to hold the camera.
Takes 3 to tango.
Kilobyte, happy Friday from Arizona. Cheers, brother. Are you using the Elgato right now or the Rodecaster? I'm using the Rodecaster Video because of video.
We are both actually using the Rodecaster Video right now.
I'm using the Rodecaster Video, Dylan. I don't know, man.
Oh, all right. You're using the
on my level. Get on my level. It's funny.
Boy.
So I've got the Elgato Wave XLR Mark II here. This is a great little interface. The thing that stops me from using this, and this is the thing that like I would use this hands down. There's nowhere to plug in monitors. Big issue for me is I have monitors on my gaming rig. I don't just run headphones, and that is a bit of a problem for me. Now, the new Wave XLR Pro that they're coming out with does have monitor outs. So, if you're really looking into something for gaming like that, something like that, just stay tuned. That Wave XLR Pro is coming. I don't know when though. They haven't shared that with me. I was supposed to get all the XL or the extra stuff from Elgato. I wonder if they were just pissed that I didn't put out the anyways, we'll see. Sup, I'm very tired today. Just wanted to say hi before I go. Oh, Jess, you're leaving. Aw, okay. We will see you next week, Jess. Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate that.
Thanks for hanging out.
Hopefully you get a good night's sleep. So, Scream and Scramp. I think that's Shrimp. Yo, love the glasses, Aiden. Thanks. I love these glasses. I got the second pair, and I think I finally come to terms with these are my glasses. These are the ones that the defining glasses for me for the next 2 years. Big Dumper. Yeah. That's got to be a nickname for somebody that we know, Dylan.
Oh yeah,
Beresford,
probably me.
Beresford Productions. Greetings from the UK. Cheers, man. I am the crustaceous one, indeed. I can just tell now, dude. That's awesome. I can just tell when it's shrimp in the house, man. Yeah. So the name of this episode, Dylan, is "We May Have a New Space," and I'm still
Oh yeah, you're
coming
going
to,
there. Nice.
I'm still coming to terms with what we saw earlier today.
Yeah.
I'm still like, I talk about talking it over with the wife, and I just spoke with her on the phone before we got on camera here, Dylan. And the one thing she's like, "Well, I support you in whatever you want to do," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I mean, it is a dodgy ass scenario, 100%. Like this studio space is dodgy AF." I know we swear on this live stream, but that's the best way to put it. It is dodgy. It is the upper floor. You know those like industrial buildings where they've got like, carpet by the foot. They got carpet. They've got
it's like a garage. Stores. It's a garage with a loft.
Yeah, and we're the loft. Yeah. We would be the loft
in a row.
And it's 1,000 square feet, and it's cheap. And one of the reasons it's cheap is most people use these buildings for storage, and so meaning we could be as loud as we want. It used to be a church, like a small church service place. It just comes across as the first thing the guy says to me goes, "Dude, it can be cash. We can work cash." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna need a receipt, dude."
Yeah.
But I'm really this is something I kind of have to pull the trigger on soon. So I am struggling. I don't know. I haven't like fully made up my mind if this is something I'm going to do, because I can move in tomorrow. If I give him the money, I can literally move in tomorrow. And Dylan's trying to help me get to the point, get to the decision. But man, moving out of the house, I feel like I'm 18 years old again, and I'm going to get my apartment. So
yeah, well, because I don't know, it's nice to have like a purposeful space for a business, and having a blank slate like that. It's kind of cool. We spent a lot of time, Aiden and I, we looked at the space, then we started kind of throwing around some possibilities, like rough floor plan guesstimates and sort of some of the pros and cons, some of the things we're gonna have to work around. Storage is a huge one. A lot of storage potential, which is fantastic. That is grand. And some integrate and some content too. That's the other thing we talked about, is some content out of it.
Yeah, well, and like the build itself, it would have to be, because we would go from having a studio like this to having a completely bare room. And I will say, like the space, there's like about a 300 square foot space that is kind of off to the side, and you can see it as being more of an office storage environment. And then you have like a raised platform, because it used to be a church, of course. And that raised platform would be the studio space.
Well, see, here's what's nice.
Bonus there.
Here's what I like about that raised platform is that's a raised enough platform that there's got to be joists under that floor. There's got to be some substructure. And so the nice thing about that is we drill some holes and we can run cabling through the floor.
I already thought about, like, when we're running power, is we can just have floor power.
And then, I would have like, at least a foot or a few feet apart, you have like kind of a little tunnel of sorts that is your conduit for power, and then you have a conduit for audio, and then you have a conduit for like video and data. And then so when if you want to run lines to cameras, you literally just have a plug in a junction box in the floor, and you plug your straight into the ground, and then everything else just goes right to your you can do some cool install shit.
Yeah, and I've thought about, like, the one thing I'd do is floor power. Like having power on the floor.
Having power available on the, even around here, like I don't have in-floor power, but I've got lots of, like, you can get these on Amazon. They're like 15-foot extension cables with, at the other end is just a square box that's got a bunch of outlets and USB-A and USB-C all over it. and then you just sit it on the floor, kick it around. They're so good to have, but to have just again a plate in the floor, which is chunk. So I
Yeah,
think having a raised floor is going to be super useful for shit like that.
I think so.
And then
Shrimp
as we talked
says,
about, there's like trussing because it's an open ceiling, so we can like hanging stuff is
yeah.
also going to be great.
We'll get to this in a second. God, Shrimp says, I come with an aura. Oh, buddy, we know your aura, man.
Oh yeah,
Smells like shrimp.
OG aura.
Like UK, a new space shed in the garden. Kind of, actually. Um, it's about that level. Like it's a dodgy space. What I will say is this is the cheapest space by half
I don't know, man. You say
that we've
it's
seen.
not that dodgy. I mean, the bathroom was all right. Needs a new light bulb, but it's all right. It needs a paint. Like the last tenants were not keeping it up very well.
There's like phone lines hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, and so and I mean, some of that could be on on the property management, we'll say, for not preparing and staging that, right? Like how long does it take to take some cables down?
Right? But also
yeah, but
like
it's got a lot of potential. I think when we spruce it up as you would with the space that you're going to use regularly, over time we could get it to a point where it's actually looking quite nice.
Well, and yeah, like one of the things I'm going to tell the guy is we're going to leave this place a hell of a lot better than we're getting it. Just so you know.
Oh
it's
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
very functionable. So,
Yeah.
Michael Ripple says just popped in here to say P120 greater than AT 2020. I agree with that.
Accurate, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Audio Technica lineup.
No arguments.
The only thing I was overly impressed with was the old lineup of Audio Technica's headphones. Not the new ones, not the M series that they have now. Back about 12 years ago, they had the 30, 40, 50X. And yeah, I had the 30s and the 50s way back in the day, and those were awesome. I don't like the new M series, how they've done them. But yeah, like Audio Technica, I would say is subpar when you compare to AKG. I know I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I used to practice with a band in a very sketchy area. LOL, do what you got to do. The funny thing about this, so because it's one unit split into top and bottom, the main access to the place is one door. So whoever's renting the bottom technically will open the door, and my studio's up the stairs and everything else is off to the right. So that means somebody's going to have access to the studio, meaning I've got to put a door up at the top of the stairs. And I don't want to say how much money and gear I would have in this studio because I don't feel like having people visit the place, but it's going to like, I'll have to have a very good insurance policy for this place.
Oh, yeah.
110%. So that's the problem with the sketch part of it. Like, yeah, like whenever you're going into a place and the guy's like, hey man, I'll take cash, a part of you is like, but then also the price, you're like, well, and until we have like a corporate sponsor for the channel, which I'm still fingers crossed on.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be moving into a place that's twice the price of this place anytime soon. But also the other part of this that kind of gets lost in the mix when we talk about finding the perfect space, Dylan, is a space where you can be loud. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find a rental where you can play drums?
So this is something that affects Mackie. So Mackie in Seattle, in an area near Seattle, kind of a suburb area, we have two offices that are, a good like 10, 15-minute drive apart. Kind of, well, maybe 10. I don't know. I don't really keep track. There's some shuttling that happens between, but there's like a main headquarters, which I don't know if any of these addresses are public, but it's kind of where a lot of the administrative and operations stuff. And then there's, what we kind of colloquially call the fun house, the engineering building, which is in another part of the same kind of area. And the difference between them is, the main HQ, and eventually this is going to change, but the main HQ of Mackie and Loud Audio is in a more, kind of nicer building that's,
It is a nice
more
building.
more corporate-y, but it's the kind of place where you'd have your tenants would be like lawyers, right? And so it's you can't really do a ton of loud noises. Now they have a good plot in that building. They're not cramped in by any stretch, but whereas in engineering, it's in an industrial park area. And so then the big
Yeah.
reason for those two places is because engineering has an acoustic measurement room, and we do a lot of loud
Yeah.
loud, like all night long noise testing kind of stuff. And so,
That's awesome.
yeah, being in a place that's not, like we have a loudspeaker measurement robot called a Clipple, very expensive piece of technology, and it basically plots in 3D, 3-dimensional space, all of the kind of parameters of the loudness, frequency response, all that of the speakers. And so they'll set it on a program where it runs. And so basically what it does, it's got a microphone on a robotic arm, and the microphone moves around to various points around the speaker, and it plays a sweep. It runs in a different place, plays a sweep, and it does that like hundreds of times. And so over this, it sometimes takes like 12 or 14 hours to do one of these scans of a speaker. And so they'll run it overnight. And so when you've got a speaker like running at like 110 dB doing sweeps of the full, like, it's going to get through the walls.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Right?
And so, yeah, being in a spot where they don't really care. I think the only time where it's become an issue is sometimes if we go, outside to test a speaker in the middle of the daytime. I think there was one time where they got the police showed up because of a noise complaint from somebody, but it was like broad daylight on a Tuesday, and it was like,
Yeah,
I don't know, somebody, the cops didn't really care, but it was just funny, and it's now become like a legend. The time where we got the cops called for being rowdy.
But just being able to play drums in the space where like that's part of the process I'm really looking forward to in testing microphones out
Yes.
is being able to use high SPL stuff. We have a drum
Yeah,
kit. It
and
should
it'll be
set
interesting.
up.
It'll be interesting content wise. Like the acoustics of the space are, well, they're as rough as any open empty
Yep.
room is, right?
Well,
With the added reverberant in the, because the ceiling is raised in metal.
yeah, I like it. UK brought he said sound treatment and insurance costs will be insane. Insurance won't be as bad. Insurance, I'm getting like they usually have some like $300,000 coverage. That's
yeah,
basically would
something,
be
yeah.
fine for me. I'm not a multi-million-dollar company, so I'm not too concerned about that. The treatment, however, I'm looking at possibly like working with the treatment company that I know and is good.
Yeah.
at,
Yeah, we
you know,
have some ideas for that. There's gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
content as we prepare this space, because I think there's a lot of cool little adventures here. I think there's a lot of people in the room who probably would love at some point, maybe as a midterm or long-term goal, to have like a space for a studio. And it's like, all right, well, here's, Aiden knows a good amount about construction stuff. I know a good amount about like electrical and some stuff about carpentry. So we're gonna kind of do it up, and like you said, we're gonna leave the space a lot better. So we'll do a little series of videos as we're figuring our way out through building
also,
this facility.
We're solving issues in a studio build, right? Which is
Yeah.
most people are here because they have some sort of studio, some sort of audio based place that they're trying to get the best audio they can out of the situation. And we're going
Right.
to be building that and finding those problems and fixing those problems, hopefully. And that's going to be part of it. That's awesome. Like, I mean, baffles for the ceiling. So we don't have like it's all metal. It's going to be rough. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of fun stuff with it. And I mean, fuck, we could just coat the thing in rock wool and we'd be fine. But I don't want to. I want to make it pretty. I want to make it fun. Hey Elgato, if you want to supply a couple $1,000 worth of your, no, they won't do that.
Oh my God, that's can you imagine how many panels, how many of those hexagons? You need thousands of those. You need literally thousands of those.
I have about twice the amount that I've got on the wall here that just isn't up because I bought it.
Nice. No, I think ideally we need for something like that where we need like good blanket across the board absorption. Like I think the big, actually I can show one because I have one beside me. These big old 2 by 4 foot panels that are like 2 inches thick. These are what we would be after. I already have one, obviously.
What's up, Lo?
But yeah, the treatment will be
okay.
interesting. I was talking about hanging like nimbuses from the ceiling, just
Yeah.
to manage because it is again a tin roof. So, which there's pros and cons to that. Pros is we get hanging points that are super convenient. Con is it's fucking metal. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so we're gonna need some damping there. It'll be fun. I know, and I work with an amazingly intelligent, like PhD in mathematics turned acoustic expert. So I will be consulting him, and he works for Mackie, by the way. And I will be consulting him, Sir Richard, quite regularly on this as well, because
Bring him
yeah, he knows
out.
a thing or two.
Let's bring him out. You see if he can help us. It's funny. Whenever I say audio is math, a lot of people kind of huff at me like, nah, no, it's actually
Yeah,
literally
it is a
math.
lot of math.
It's
It is
literally math.
well, a lot of especially how like sound travels, you know, like one of the running jokes that I have with Richard is like, so you lose 6 dB every time you double the distance from the speaker, and also doubling the power only gives you 3 dB, and that's why sound is hard. Um, it's like the running joke because yeah, the inverse square law means that for every time you double the distance,
Yeah,
you get
propagation.
25 you get 25% the strength. And so
Yep.
you get 1 inch away from the speaker, you're one volume level. You get another inch away, you are a quarter of whatever the volume was an inch closer, and then, you know, further out.
Yeah.
But
Liberty
um,
Dude says, "How do you think a customer would react if they came to this location? Depending on time of day, the fear level should be low. It's not that like it's not dodgy. It's basically a business park or
yeah,
an
yeah,
industrial
the
zone.
actual in the environment is quite hospitable. It's just that the actual space, the physical space itself is, you know, it's pretty
Yeah.
bare. It's pretty bare.
Shrimp says, guys, I upgraded my horrible PC situation. Nice. It's a
Nice.
2012 Dell Optiplex. Wow. Back in the
Wowzer.
day, that thing was awesome. The Dell Optiplexes were wicked.
Optiplex.
Now, like new SSD, that's a big one. New graphics card,
There we
and
go.
internet Wi-Fi card.
I got a back shot. I got a back shot now. It's perfect.
Oh, there. Well, that's something completely different in certain circles.
No, don't even. Demonetized.
Yeah, Dylan's talking back shots, guys. I don't know, man.
Oh boy, yeah, you had to go
He's got
there
a
with
tattoo back there. Aim. As a metal vocalist, I
Yep.
just said need space to be loud. No kidding. Kanan Nightwolf. Hey again.
Well,
How's it going?
one thing I said to Aiden that I want to do is, I mean, we've still got the ISOVox. Hey, you should message them if we get the second one, and then we can put it.
I
but
don't
have an
think they're
idea where,
working with
like,
me again.
because this space is like disgustingly untreated and super reverberant. And so the idea of like having a microphone in there, singing a passage, and then singing the same passage in the ISOVox right in the middle of the room, and then see like how much it rejects. It's not going to reject all of it. I know that it's
No.
not going to do that. But it would be interesting to see, okay, exactly how much, if you're in just a gymnasium type space that you have no control of the acoustics, how much can it really reject?
Action podcast. Yeah, it has been a while, brother. How's it going? It's
Good.
Friday. I'm drunk and love me some audio nerdy chat. Welcome.
Yeah.
We got the audio nerdy chat and some
Well,
of
you
the
gotta
drunk
get
too.
caught up. You know, there's a bunch upstream.
Kanan, I received my RE320 now and I've been using it to film videos. None are up yet. Trying to get some in the pipeline and start releasing them, but it's so clean and suits my voice like I was hoping. Yeah, 320. The RE series is awesome.
Yeah.
Action just ordered my acoustic panels for a new studio at my new house. I'm in the building
Nice.
trade and can't wait to build this thing. Nice. Yeah, if you have knowledge of construction, building a studio is actually quite simple.
Yeah.
I've worked in construction my whole life. I've renovated fully like ground to ceiling 2 houses now over the past several years.
It's kind of funny. One of the things about like guys that architect studios, like guys that kind of do floor plans and stuff, is like, I was talking to a guy that does that, and he was saying every time he goes to like a contractor to actually build the space, and he's like, this is what it needs to be. Like, it's got all these like jagged, not right angle. Like, it looks like then the contractors said are always like, did a kid draw this? Like, what is this? Like, no, those are actually follow those angles. Build. And the guy's like, all right, I guess I really got to get to know my miters.
Well, or just use a lot of shims for the corners, man.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, really just getting a God. Yeah.
I'm tempted to use some old self-adhesive sound dampening panels on the ceiling above where I sit, the new setup. Be careful with that because that shit will literally tear your ceiling apart when you go to take it off. And,
Oh, God, yeah.
one of the biggest things, like radio stations were really bad for this back in the day. They would buy a bunch of Oralex and they would literally glue it to the wall. And so, oh, hey, we're moving our studio down the hall. Let's get all that Oralex off the wall. It's like, no,
man.
go buy a bunch of new Oralex because it's either the wall or the Oralex that's surviving.
Well, and honestly,
this.
like, and there's some good and some not so good ways to put these like big old panels on the wall. I've got like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 of these around the rooms. A few of them, like this one, I use as a gobo basically, and I just put it strategically wherever I'm recording because they're actually really good when they're mobile because you can kind of baffle in different strategies. Like if you're using a figure 8, put one right behind it. If you're trying to use it for like a cardio, like a directional application, but it happened. Like I'm using a ribbon mic, which is always going to be figure 8. It's fixed in that way. So, but I'm using it on a source that's in front of it. So I'm like, I don't care about anything that's behind it. So just kill it. But they have impalers, which are these plates that have metal spikes that stick out of them, and then you stab it into the fabric and stuff, and you do that enough times, and suddenly the shit starts falling out of the fucking back of it, and you're like, or like it falls off the wall because it just like self-immolated at the back, and so. The ones for the place that we're looking at, they have a little like tongue and groove thing where you mount a metal piece to the thing, you mount a metal piece to the wall, and it just sits gravity held. And they have the same thing for ceiling tiles is where I was going with this. So they got Nimbus things where you basically put 2 pieces on the ceiling that are shaped like this, and then you just slide the metal pieces of the Nimbus into it, and it's just 4 screw holes. And it stays in it, which is a much better way than the fucking impalers or the glue. Oh my God, the glue.
Use just before we get to an Aya print here, I use transition strips, the metal transition strips from room to room. You know how they're old tile or laminate used to have those metal strips.
Oh yeah,
you buy
cut
a
them
bunch
up.
of those. Yeah, you cut them up and you put one side on the wall and then you turn it around. And put it on the thing.
You can totally. You can totally build that yourself. But I'm saying
perfect.
like it's one of the better and less destructive ways that you can not only mount your acoustic material but make it actually reusable, because those impalers, there's only a certain number of times that you can stick it on those before the loose insulation inside just starts disintegrating and coming out the back.
Yeah. Anaya Prince says, hey, how are you? I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I just got the new Elgato Stream Deck Plus XL. Disappointed with it, but it's okay. I'm curious about, like, have you ever worked with the Stream Deck before? Because the Stream Deck is very, like, it's a unique product. And if you have no use for macro keys, and like Stream Decks are great for editors because you can like fill it up with a ton of macros and you can literally like put your hand on it and never take your hand off that. Yeah, like
it's like that piece that I gave you today to muck around with, like that. There's this. Well, actually, you know what? It's that remember the Fairlight desktop console?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. That is for a very specific set of people, and if you're outside of that group, it's useless to you. It might be extremely expensive. It might be $5,000.
Oh,
but
I brought that in to sell it because I needed to get rid of it. It was just one of those things sitting in the way. And I brought it into Vistech, which is a company here in Canada that audio video. And the guy looks at me and it's a $5,000 board. Like if you're to buy it brand new, it's $5,000 Canadian. And he's like, I'll give you 700. I'm like, what? He's like, well, he's like, there's 2 people in the city that want this.
Yeah, he's weighing how quickly he can move it, and it's just going to take up space.
And the chance that one of those 2 people is going to come in here and buy it off me is almost zero. He said, so yeah, I don't want it. He's like, that's my way of telling you to take it out of my store. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. But I
know there's a lot of sales guys that have that belief that's like, never say no, just give them, they call it a fuck you price. You know,
Yeah.
give them a fuck you price, which either is a price that if you're buying from somebody is so exorbitantly high that, or if you're selling to somebody, it'll be so exorbitantly low that's like, why would I give it away for that? Like I brought in a Gibson guitar once to be like, hey, theoretically, what would I get for this? And you're like, I don't know, like 250. I'm like, you're dumb. He's like, no, I don't want it. I honestly don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all
Yeah.
right, fair enough.
So before anybody thinks that like my life is great because I'm sent all this gear and I can make a ton of money on it, nobody buys audio gear used. Like there's
No, especially
and
some of these like niche pieces. Like there's
yeah.
some pieces like a 58 you can sell used,
Oh
no
yeah.
problem. No problem.
Oh, within like a
Um,
couple hours it'll be sold. Easy.
I'd be interested to see like what something like a Roadcaster video would go for used.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's still
I'm curious
new.
about the market on it. Like how many, like I know a Roadcaster Duo or a Roadcaster Pro 2
You know what you
will
should do?
go no problem.
You should bring in your RCVS not to actually sell it, but just be like, hey, theoretically, like next time you're at Vistec, what would you give me for this?
That's interesting.
um,
Yeah.
and just see what they say. And obviously, don't do it because it's you use it.
Yeah,
But
no,
like,
but no, God, no.
no.
These things are wicked. Like this thing doesn't leave my desk here. I use
I
it
would
for
do that
everything.
too, like with the RCP2 and at Long and McQuaid. That would be interesting. Go to Long and McQuaid and see for an
Yeah,
RCP. We brought the Duo in, I think, didn't we?
yeah.
As a trade in, yeah.
I'm picking up a 1U rack Dobley. I'm thinking you mean Dolby LM100 loudness meter just to mess around with because why not? Yeah, I mean why
Nice.
not? Loudness meters can be fun. How far?
Metering is
Well,
cool,
okay.
man. I want a big ass like 1U full rack width like
Yeah.
a LED big ladder meter. I would it be super functionally useful? No, but it looks fucking actually the Vorsys Mic Pro says the Wheatstone one that I have has like little like 3 sets of meters across the front and it looks sexy. I love watching it dance around.
Popcast says, fortunately, I'm a plasterer, so killing a ceiling and fixing it is my bag. I hate doing drywall.
It's
I'd
messy.
stream that. Voice to text. Okay. I think there needs to be some more likes on this stream. Cheers, brother. I appreciate
I got
that.
a lot of total offshoot story. I got a lot of respect for people that do plaster work, man. I in my old apartment, I had you never saw it in person, but there was a weird like half wall in the way of the front door, and you know we got everything into the apartment without any kind of damage. It's just the movers that were moving it out. They took out like the entire corner of the fucking wall, trying to get my couch out, and their answer was like, "Well, we couldn't get it out without doing that." I'm like, well, you got it in without doing that. Oh man. But you know, I was like, fuck, man, that's like you could see the whole metal bead for like half of the wall on the corner. Like all the plaster was gone, and obviously I was like, fuck me. And the landlord was like, no, the guy that we get to come in and do painting, he does drywall work, so he could probably just fix it. I'm like, oh, okay. Guy comes in, fixes it in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Just shoop, looks great. I'm like, huh. Man, there's a full artistry to that, man.
Yeah, I'm good at drywalling, but I'm not that good. Like I'm good for somebody who doesn't drywall for a living. I can
Right.
do drywall. I can do it
Yes.
competently.
Yeah.
You don't see my seams, but it takes me fucking forever.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're
like
not fast
total
at it 'cause
props.
you don't do it every day.
Oh, man, I got my wife texting me during the live stream. I've been to Canada before. I remembered you said about being in Scotland a couple of years ago. Loved Scotland. I totally
Scotland.
went
Oh
there.
yeah.
My granddad used to live in Canada, so I went about 7 times. Canadians were always so polite. Interesting you say that because if you're living in Canada, it's amazing you don't think we're polite. You really don't. Like a lot of people, like, oh, Canadians are so polite. I'm like, ah. Then you go to New York.
Fuck off. Go sharpen your skates, bud. Go fuck
Oh,
right
dear,
off.
bud. But go
eat
to New
shit.
York.
Go fuck right off.
Literally, go to New York, and you will understand why people think we're so polite.
Yeah,
Because
true.
it is
Yeah. See the opposite
absolute
end.
opposite.
Yeah, see
Like
the opposite side of the spectrum, and like
I
Boom.
bump into somebody, I say, "Oh, sorry, bud, not New York. Fuck off."
or
What,
sorry, boss.
dude?
That's
Yeah,
your
sorry, boss.
sorry, boss.
Like it's such a weird. Like Vegas is the same thing. You go to Vegas, people are nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people are assholes
It's different
outside
though.
of Canada,
It
but
is different.
there's a different expectation of interpersonal interactions.
Yeah,
And in
like
Canada, it's
if you're
very
in
different.
Vegas, if you're in Canada, like if I'm, I don't know, walking a side street here and I walk by somebody, I will smile at them and I will say good morning. If you did that in Vegas, that would be weird. Don't
Yeah.
do that in Vegas.
No, and like
Ever.
I do this in my neighborhood where if I make eye contact with a person, you smile and you kind of give the
Yeah,
nod or hey, how's it going?
yeah. Hey.
I did that in New York. We were in
No, they're like, what do you
Brooklyn.
want?
Yeah, we're in Brooklyn, and I walked out of our Airbnb and I saw this guy made eye contact with him. Hey, buddy. And he looked at me like he was about to like kill me. I'm like,
Yeah, he's like, what do you
"Screw
like? It's almost
you."
like they interpret it as like you're trying to just like there's a lot of con and scammery too in big
Yeah,
cities like that.
like
So I think
cross you.
there's this inherent suspicion. Like even I get it sometimes. Like if I'm walking and somebody comes up and they're really like overly friendly, I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
what's your angle? Like, what are you
I
trying
don't
to do
like
right
you. Yeah, like cross you
now?
a
Yeah,
podcast. I'm walking here. Yeah,
I'm walking
exactly.
here.
You want to know why I'm disappointed? Because I used to have 2 Stream Deck controllers on my desk for my dock and one to control everything, including the deck and XL. Okay, you want to know why I'm disappointed? Because I have to use 2 Stream Deck controllers on my desk for
Second
my
time's a charm.
dock and one to control everything, including the deck and XL. Yeah, that is annoying. Fair. Plaster, tile, decorate, do flooring, cement work, and I'm not too shabby at a bit of carpentry. The downside,
Nice.
my wife volunteers me to do a lot of work for friends. Fuck my life. Yeah, action podcast.
Yeah, that's the other
I'm
problem when you know shit like that.
I keep it to myself. Like you know, I can do it all. I can do it all competently. I'm very good at a few things. I'm not electrical work. I don't do. I stay the fuck away from that. Plumbing, I'm okay, but I'm very bad with the regulations on plumbing. And there's a lot of regulations that um you gotta remember, like how many 45-degree elbows can you put in a line before it's out of code, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
plumbing, I am
um
not. I am loosely familiar with how to join
yeah,
pipes to elbows and shit, and that's about it. That's about the only
I
thing I know
I
with plumbing.
usually hire out for plumbing and electrical. I'll do basic plumbing, but I had to plumb in. We put a bathroom in our ensuite, and it's an open ensuite, and I basically built the bathroom out of nothing. But when it came to like plumbing in the tub and all that stuff, I was like, I called in a guy. I just need you to plumb this and this and this. And it was so much easier because I would have been like, wow, where am I putting this? Where am I doing that? How much of a joist can you cut through? How many joists in a row can you cut through? All these
How
little
long ago
things.
did you do? Did you do like PEX or did you copper for the supply?
PEX.
Oh yeah,
PEX, but it's only for the upstairs. No, they're saying PEX is bad now because of the
yeah,
microplastics.
microplastics. Yep,
Fucking hell,
yep.
man.
And so
Can't
yeah,
even
but the
keep up
problem is
on that shit.
copper is not only a pain in the arse to work with, but like you got to get into soldering when you're working with copper, but also it's expensive.
Yeah, no kidding. Canon Nightwolf, I went last year to New Jersey and we went to New York. And because of being Scottish, people don't act like that with me for some reason. All they did was say it was because I'm Scottish. Yeah, I feel like when people find out I'm Canadian, they get a lot nicer.
Well, yeah, because they know, like, once somebody is flagged, and that's the one downside. Like, you and I are both people, like, we could pass for an American. There's nothing
Yeah, yeah.
about us that doesn't
Oh,
look inherently just like North American Caucasian. And so, when we don't, people just see us and we just kind of blend. Whereas, yeah, if you've got an accent or if you're, more of a visible minority, they'll inherently like, okay, you're not going to be probably everything like the way I'm behaving.
Yeah.
And
This
so when
is
you're overly friendly, they're like, oh, it's that foreigner thing.
this is an interesting question from the movie thieves. I'm just going to put this out there for Dylan before I answer. But what do you think about using a Blue Ember in the place of a Telefunken ELA M251 since they look similar? Dylan, which one would you take, a Telefunken or a Blue Mike's?
I ain't used either of those, so I do not have enough data to have an opinion.
The Blue Ember's not a great mic.
No,
but what I will tell you is Telefunken. I don't think there's a bad Telefunken mic out there.
no. I mean, just on its face, I'm inclined that you probably can't substitute a Telefunken for a Blue Ember. Yeah. or a Blue Ember for a Telefunken.
And I'm in the same boat as Dylan. I've only used the Blue Ember. I've never used the M250 one from Telefunken. So I don't know. I can't even picture the mic.
But again, at the same time, I haven't used either of the products. He's used the Blue Ember, so he can speak to that at least.
The
but
self
yeah,
noise is disgusting.
You know,
it's literally a sea of self noise, man. It's brutal. The UK can be quite blunt and rude. It ain't all cucumber sandwiches and tea with the queen. I find it's an interesting, different type of blunt. I don't find it rude. When we were in the UK, I found it very, like some people are like, I prefer bluntness. I always have. I would prefer not to be guessing, right?
Yeah, just be straight with me. Yeah.
Yeah, in Canada, there's a little bit too much non-blunt behavior where people, sometimes you just get the finger from people, but for the most part,
a lot of times, people beat around the bush a little bit more than, so like just say what the fuck you mean. Come on.
Yeah. I'm also very blunt. Like if you piss me off, you're the first person to know I'm pissed off with you. If you ever like have to ask me, are you mad at me? I'm not mad at you. And it's just like, that's almost a common courtesy that I offer people because I don't fuck around and I don't beat around the bush. But yeah, like, I don't know. To me, rudeness, like even in the US, I didn't find it rude. I found it disconcerting.
No.
Like nobody's ever held the door for me in the US.
I'm naturally, I accommodate to people's culture. So my whole vibe is I just try to stay out of people's way, not make people uncomfortable, when I'm in a place where like I'm not like, again, I've been like when I was in Ireland, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna, do as the Romans do, as it were, try to pay attention and follow, which is fun. I know that's the part I like about traveling is this sort of this improvise on the fly, like, okay, you guys are doing that, so I'm doing that too. Yep. Let's do it.
I like the UK. It's like talking to people on the tube. When you do it, it looks you get from locals, which is why I still do it. Yeah, I like my big one is I lose my accent quickly. Like I lose my Canadian accent very quickly when I travel.
I pick up local accents a lot.
Here's an interesting thought experiment for you though, Dylan. The concept of losing your accent or gaining another accent. Which one is it to you? Do you lose your accent? So if let's say a Scot moves here,
I gain another accent.
But but do you really? Because if a Scottish person moves to Canada and they stop speaking with a Scottish dialect, are they losing their accent or are they gaining a Canadian
It's
accent?
all depending on who from what perspective. So from the perspective of a Scotsman moving to Canada and acquiring the Canadian accent, they're gaining the Canadian accent. But to me, the Canadian accent is not an accent. It's just how I talk. And so for me,
exactly.
I'm not really losing an accent because again, just proprioception wise, like it's all about whose perspective you're looking at it from.
Exactly. And whenever I went to Ireland and I started quote unquote picking up an Irish accent or losing the Canadian accent, my wife is fucking mortified. She's like,
first time in my life that I've been complimented on my accent was there's this like little burger shop not far from where Road is in Silverwater. And I was, the server, this gal, she's just like, I love your accent. You have such a nice sounding accent. I was like, really? Huh.
Oh, so do you, eh?
Well, again, I don't have I have a very Americanized Canadian accent. Yeah. There's things like, like hot. I don't say hot. I say hot. Hot. That's very Canadian. Hot.
Get in the car. Every once in a while, so there's
you got a little bit of that, dear bud.
There's a type of dialect and our teacher from radio school, a guy named Dan Mellon, used to say this. He said, if you get a job in a specific part of Canada, you need to be able to speak their language or you're not going to get the job. And one of them was Northwestern Ontario, Dryden, Thunder Bay, all that. And I grew up in Thunder Bay. And I remember Dan going, dude, you need to get a job in Thunder Bay. They will throw money at you. He's like, because you can speak Thunder Bay. And if you want to speak Thunder Bay, it's easy. All you got to do is just be a little more Canadian about everything, a little bit of Wisconsin kind of tucked in there too. And you definitely just, oh, dude, that's freaking stupid. Why would you do that, man? Like,
Sounds
that's
like, I don't know,
dumb.
like Fargo on a diet.
But
kinda.
but you got to remember, Fargo's not far from Thunder Bay.
No,
So
yeah.
you get a lot of this dialect because Minnesota, it's just north of Minnesota. So we used to go to Duluth
Minnesota.
all the time. And you would go into Minnesota, you can see, oh, Minneapolis is such a big city. Yeah, like it's such a ridiculous thing that the dialect is so important. I don't even remember why I got in this. It's fucking funny though.
Yeah,
Action,
I did that earlier.
Action Podcast says, fuck electrical work. A bit of plumbing is fine, but electric, fuck, now that shit kills you. Yeah. Agreed.
Honestly, if you know the kind of core tenets of electrical safety and you have the right tools, but honestly, having the right tools goes for any trade. Like if you're a carpenter, you know, the difference sometimes between, you know, a $500 versus a $5,000 tool, if you're spending your money right, is how easy it makes the job that the tool does.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, a $100 table saw and a $1,000 table saw are gonna be very different constructions.
Yeah, no kidding. I blew out an electrical outlet the last week. I was sitting there. I had my heater.
Oh
on,
yeah, I remember that. That was weird.
And I'm like, the heater's on, and I hear, and I thought it was the heater because it's one of those whatchamacallit heaters. The
oil heaters.
Yeah, it's an oil heater, and I heard this like. Like, oh, what a weird sound it's making. Okay. It was the arcing of the plug, and I ended up like looking down and it's like flaming in black. I'm like, oh shit.
Were you the one that put that outlet in?
No.
Okay.
And I found out what the problem was. I was overdrawing because the hotline, they left some of the plastic on the wire, and the plastic was underneath the screw, meaning the screw wasn't fully making contact. So I was overdrawing. Yeah.
Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, watch your. I know that's one core tenet of electricals. Anytime you have a joint of some kind of conductor touching another conductor, always verify the surface area of contact. Because you can be like, oh, those wires are touching, and they have like one small part in like a sketchy solder joint or something, or not even. That's just, and you have this tiny little like nanometer bit, and then you've got a ton of current trying to go through that teeny little path, and then you get arcing and fire, and especially in this, you got material in the way. Insulator.
No, it made me kind of want to go and check out all my fucking outlets. This house was built by a fucking moron. There, I got stories. Kanan says,
and then too, like, you know, you and I know, like, people get this DIY vibe, and they go and they install shit, and they don't know what they're doing, and then
it just drives me fucking nuts. Kanan Nightwolf says, that really annoys me when people are passive aggressive like that. Just be upfront. I'm naturally blunt and sarcastic due to the culture I'm in, so I don't do that stuff. Me and my wife are two like different beasts when it comes to that. My wife is the okay, yeah, all right, and I'm like, go fuck yourself. I'm very like, there have been a few times where we've gotten missives from like my kid.
Jehovah Witnesses. No,
missives. But my wife does some she's a VP of the VP of the Synchronized Swimming Club, and every once in a while we'll get like these letters from them saying something, and I'm like, tell him to go fuck himself. My wife's like sending back a very well doctored letter. I'm like, do you tell him to go fuck himself? She's like, kind of, but not really. Yeah, we communicate very differently between the wife and I. The Telefunken one was used in the Titanic song My Heart Will Go On. Okay, here's the thing. If Celine Dion sang into the Telefunken, I can guarantee you it's going to be better than the Blue Ember. Like, yeah, I would
that's a safe bet. I would say that's a safe bet.
I'm big, hairy, and tattooed. People assume I'm not nice until they realize I'm soft as shit when I speak to them. Yeah, I'm if I like you, I'm nice.
I have a little bit of resting bastard face, as it were.
Rest in asshole face.
In the sense that when I'm, especially if I'm like, I don't know, my brain, like I'm at an airport or something I'm going through, I probably have a really unapproachable look on my face. But then, yeah, people ask me a question. I'm just like, hey, what's up? And it's like the whole vibe changes. But I don't know, just my natural resting position is very much just like this, like,
Yeah.
and that doesn't look the most approachable to most people. So I don't know. I try
Yeah.
when I'm traveling to be conscious of it and where, but it is, I know it's facially exhausting to hold your muscles in a position that they don't want to rest in, it's like flexing your arm all the time,
I've been
except in your
told I
face.
look angry when
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not. Well, yeah, sometimes I am, but I'm not angry all the time. Sometimes.
No, I'm
But
not. I'm very passionate all the time, but angry is not always the direction of the passion.
the one thing I can say is I cannot pretend to like somebody I don't. I can There's no part of me that okay, here's a funny story for you, Dylan. We had way back when we first moved to Ottawa, we went to a party. One of my wife's friends was getting married. And this douchebag I was talking to, um, I was kind of goofing around with him because Ottawa people and I, oh, your camera went out.
Oops.
Ottawa people and I, oh, there you go. You're on a different camera. That was
Am
weird.
I?
Oh, you're just switching cameras around? All right, okay. Anyways, I was joking around with this guy about how, like, me and Ottawa people, like, the type of Ottawa person that lives here and me don't tend to get along. And I was kind of goofing around about that stuff because I came from like a little bit more of a redneck area, and I'm not prim and proper like a lot of Ottawa, which is a very government city is. And this guy
Yeah.
turns to me, and goes, "Yeah, I can kind of see why nobody fucking likes you in this city." And
Yeah.
I looked at him, I'm like, I guess you're one of the prim and proper assholes. And so I walked away and I looked at the wife and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Anyways, years go by, and it turns out that my kid and his kid are on the same synchronized swimming team. And
Huh.
one day, about 2 years ago, he walks up to him and goes, "Hey, buddy, I don't think we've met." And I'm like,
Mm.
"You're fucking kidding me, right?" And the wife's like, "Andrew, stop doing that." I'm like, "You really, you fucking think so, eh?" I just can't. There's not a single part in my brain that lets me actually be nice to somebody that I dislike. There's not a single part of me. So, anyways.
I have a threshold. Like it depends how, like, if I don't like you and you already know that I don't like you, I don't care. If I don't like you, but for whatever reasons, I need to maintain a favorable relationship with you for whatever reason. And there are people in everybody's life, I think, that unfortunately, like, I don't know, you probably don't like your landlord, but for whatever reason, you're in that situation. So you got to maintain at least a well, some people, a lot of people would disagree actually. But like, it can be advantageous sometimes to be nice to people that you don't think that you should be nice to.
I can be
Um,
neutral, but I can't be nice.
but
I
again,
can be
I have a
neutral.
threshold. Like, if you're somebody that I don't like and you say something stupid, if you're somebody that I like and you say something stupid, I might let you get away with it. If you're somebody that I don't like and you say something stupid, I'm not going to let you get away with it.
I have long hair, dressed like a mixture of street clothes, so people assume I want to fight. I'm actually really chilling, fortunately for me, I have a strong Scottish accent. Where from Scotland? Because the
Yeah, what
Scottish
parts?
accent's quite like Canadian accent,
Yeah, there's
different.
a lot of variability in
Yeah.
there.
Naya Print, do you have the Stream Deck Plus XL? No, they haven't sent it to me yet. Um, I, I, I think I pissed them off a bit with some stuff. So, and I'm very sorry to Elgato if I did. I do apologize. I'm going to reach out to see if I can straighten that out. But I'm a nice standing one. I like, but if I don't like a person, they'll know about it. Not being a dick, but I don't want to be fake. Niceness really annoys me. So if you don't
No,
let me
and honestly,
know,
I've always been somebody that's been more direct. Like, I'm like, hey, if you have a problem with me, and I used to say this to all my old coworkers, and it worked great up until I moved to a specific market. But the, like, I'm always like, hey, if you have a problem, let's hash it out. Let's talk about it. Like, none of this bullshit sneaking around behind each other's back, doing weird backstabby drama shit. Fuck that. Let's talk about it. Let's work through it. And yeah, I don't know. There's some corporate environments where that is not the right. That is not what they want you to do. They do
Yep.
not want you to hit problems directly. Everything is done through back doors, and my people will talk to your people, and it's all very strange. There were several kind of confrontations that I tried to resolve directly, and that actually just made it worse. Um, despite best intentions, which is for us to get through whatever the fuck this is as quickly as possible, so we can all get back to normal fucking existence.
Yeah.
Because
The
I
only
have no patience for drama. Oh my god, I
the
hate
only
drama.
way I can get over it is through an apology. And I find today nobody apologizes. So fuck it. I just move on with life.
No,
I do think the movie Thieves brought something up and I can't not see it now. Movie Thieves says, "Oh no, Van Gogh disappeared." And now when I'm looking at you and I'm thinking if you had red hair, you would
yeah,
look
no,
like Van Gogh.
the artwork behind me doesn't help either. It's very splashy.
No, probably not. But damn, man, you just like lop an ear off. I think you could probably go as Van Gogh for Halloween.
Great.
Hey, he wasn't a bad looking guy, man. I'm just saying.
Well,
Angers
minus
might,
the not having an ear thing. That's kind of not great.
but I mean, you could pretend to lop it off. The
Ugh.
less one knows me, the more people might like me. I'm very solo, lone wolf kind of guy. I don't hang out a lot with a lot of people. I'm not a big group fan. I like hanging out one on one. I like that kind of stuff. I'm not a big like.
I like groups.
Yeah.
I like the right groups. I remember, various points in my life, I had, larger, well, mid-sized kind of friend circles. We all hang out in a big, batch of like 6 to 10 people. And if it's the right 6 to 10 people, it's
Yes.
awesome. If there's one like poison apple in there that's like an unknown or that just doesn't have the right vibe, it fucks it all up.
Yeah, I used to have a big group of friends in Brampton. I loved it.
Yeah.
I hang out with them all the time. But yeah, this
But
is
it's rare.
interesting.
It's hard to find that. Like there's lots of groups where I'm part of, even like different workplaces. Like you get, five of the best coworkers together, and they all work well together, and it's a great thing. And then you throw that one other kind of periphery person in, and it's like, this is a totally different vibe now.
Yeah. Crossio podcast used to be a professional wrestler, which, by the way, was a fascinating aspect to your podcast. And I was always the bad guy, but when fans meet me, I had to keep the facade going. But for the most
Oh
part,
god,
I'm a
that's
very
weird.
nice person. It's funny because I've read a lot of stuff about a lot of the heels in wrestling are actual douchebags. Um, so that's actually interesting. I'd love to know some of the nice wrestlers. I used to be a big WWE fan, WWF back in the day. So yeah. Steve, dang, missed you, but have a good weekend. You didn't miss us yet. We're not quite done. It's 6:03. We're almost done. Do you guys work in audio with oscilloscopes? Actually, Dylan has.
Yeah, that's funny
an-
actually. One of the like the Mackie VP of engineering, I like of weekly touch points with him, Steve Coons, and we were on a video call, and I was just, of course, the shitty angle, like from not the. Well, actually, no, I think it's basically my back angle here. Let me give a little picture in picture here. Oh no, that's my front angle.
Wrong one.
There we go.
There you go.
And so you can sort of see here. I don't know, is that in the frame, Aiden?
Yeah, I think so. It's really
barely-
small for me.
Yeah.
I'm on like an Elgato thing though, so.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. But anyway, he was like, "Is that an old Heathkit oscilloscope?" And I'm like, "Yeah, totally." And he's like, "Oh man, yeah, those I remember those back in the day." He's like, "I mean, now obviously I use like digital ones and new." I'm just like, "Yeah, duh, obviously, like." Like, yes, I'm still rocking a CRT oscilloscope as my main measurement device. No.
Well, we've got an old tone generator right back here. This
The one thing
was
I will
both.
say that is fun about the CRT oscilloscopes is obviously the refresh rate and all that is instantaneous, essentially. So it's and the latency is like nil. So there are certain applications where it is superior to a digital oscope, but now most of the digital oscopes have such a minute amount of latency and resolution that you don't even notice.
Yeah. These came from my father-in-law, by the way. This is his dad, who was like a Bell engineer back in the day. This is the tone generator that actually needed to be fixed up because the tone was a bit off. Wasn't quite 1 kilohertz. And yeah, so the oscilloscope. Lots of fun background stuff that I've been getting. I also have an old radio that's been redone. So yeah, we do understand. There's a lot of things about electrical work that I'm good. Sounds like Aiden is similar to me. If you remember the negative of someone, you can't let it pass by pretending you don't. Yeah, no, I'm not a very forgiving person, and I don't mean that in a way like if people come to me and say, "Hey, man, sorry, I was a dick to you," yeah, that's good, cool, we can move on. But as I've found in society nowadays, nobody apologizes. Nobody's like, "Hey, man,
No,
I'm
and
sorry,
I'm the
sorry for being
same
a
way.
douche."
And it depends. For most things, I don't really give a shit. But if it's some significant thing that you did, and especially for me, negligence is one thing, but intentional, you consciously fucked me over in some kind of a way. Um,
Yeah,
you need to apologize for that, or we're not moving. I'm not moving past it.
yeah.
There's people that have taken malicious acts towards me in my life, and I have no interest to see any of those people again on that grounds specifically.
We got to take off here, so I'm gonna rip through a couple here.
Rip
Keenan
'em out.
Nightwolf. I'm bang in the middle of Edinburgh and Glasgow, but a large portion of family is from
Ooh.
Govan in
Oh,
Glasgow. So my accent is strong when around Scottish people. I can make it more proper, but it feels wrong. I got in Canada, we've got Newfies,
oh man, the way you
Newfoundlanders
said it in Canada,
in Canada.
in
We got
Canada,
Newfies, and it's kind of the same deal. It's very
Newfoundlanders.
it's very inappropriate English, as you would say. I kind of relate them to. Do you remember Snatch, the movie Snatch, the Pikeys?
Yeah.
Um, Brad Pitt played the Pikey in that. Newfoundlanders kind of they have kind of the same language ticks.
Jeez, man,
Uh,
we got you talking. We got me talking about back shots. You talking about snatch. I think we're fucked.
Well, yeah, probably. Anyways, yeah. So, but the proper thing, I had a buddy of mine. We called him Johnny East Coast, and he used to every once in a while he'd straighten up and just be super proper about it. It was weird. He's like, nah, that's not right.
No.
Wrestling meant to be this annoying street kid, but I got cheered. The Cross Yo podcast, sometimes very shocking to see the guy that plays a face is actually the biggest dick in the world. Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I hear that. And the guy that plays a heel is a more good guy than anything. It's crazy. Yeah, I can see that. Recently
Yeah.
gave away my last CRT oscilloscope, gone fully digital now. Would like to see a cheap spectrum analyzer. Yeah. We don't really use a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff here, or I don't anyways, but I think we're looking to expand on that. Anyways, as my dogs are going crazy upstairs, I think it's about time to pull the plug there, Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, you froze up for a second there. I was like, he's just staring at
Freeze
the
up.
screen. You still there, Dylan? Anyways,
I'm still here.
have yourself a good weekend, guys. Cheers for everybody, and we will see you next. Whoa, we're coming up on NAB, so next week probably.
We'll see. Yeah,
More than
might be
likely.
dodgy. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But have
We'll
a great
see it when we
weekend.
see it. Ciao.